Silent descent. The moon hung in the black sky like a ghost covered in silver dust and shadows. A small ship broke through the darkness, engines humming low as it slowed near the abandoned colony. Inside the cockpit sat a lone man, his face hidden under a helmet. His eyes never left the ruined structures below. The colony had been silent for 50 years. No ship had landed here, no voice had called back from its comm towers. Official records said it was unsafe. Radiation leaks, structural collapse, old power cores too dangerous to approach. But the man did not believe in official records. He believed in what he had heard in whispers. That something valuable still slept inside this graveyard of steel and stone. As the landing legs touched the cracked surface, a cloud of gray dust rose and swallowed the ship. For a moment, it felt as if the moon itself was trying to hide the newcomer. He waited until the air cleared, then grabbed his pack and stepped into the airlock. The hiss of pressure equalizing echoed loud in the silence. His heart thumped inside, his chest. When the outer door opened, he stepped down. The ground crunched beneath his boots. A lifeless city stretched before him. Towers leaned like broken bones, their metal frames twisted and half-buried. Transparent domes that once held gardens were shattered, shards glittering like ice under the weak sunlight. No movement, no life, only silence deep enough to press against his ears. He switched on the scanner at his wrist. The screen flickered with faint readings, traces of energy, deep inside the colony. Too weak to be random, too strange to be explained by failing machines. Someone or something had kept the power alive. He adjusted his helmet mic, though no one would answer. Colony, entry point secure, moving in. His voice echoed back. At him, the emptiness making it sound like someone else had spoken. The outer gates of the colony were frozen in place, but he found a service hatch half buried in dust. With effort, he pried it open. Rusted metal screamed under his grip, the sound cutting sharp through the quiet. He climbed inside and let the hatch close behind him. The corridor was narrow, walls lined with broken pipes and flickering lights. A strange smell lingered, burnt metal mixed with something old, almost organic. He walked carefully, each step sending echoes ahead of him. Halfway down the corridor, he froze. On the wall, written in faded paint, were words in human language. "Do not go deeper." He stared at it for a long moment. The paint looked rushed, smeared as if written by someone in panic. His fingers brushed the letters, flakes of dust breaking, away under his glove. The colony had been abandoned in a hurry. He was sure of it now. He moved forward, turning corners until he reached a large chamber. Here the silence was broken by faint, irregular sounds. Metal tapping, wires buzzing, the distant hum of machinery not completely dead. Half-eaten trays of food still sat on the tables, turned to dust but untouched. Helmets and tools lay scattered across the floor. As if one day, the workers simply ran and never came back. The man's breathing grew heavier. He felt it now. That weight of being watched, though he knew no living soul remained. His hand rested on the sidearm at his belt. He told himself it was just nerves. Empty colonies had a way of twisting the mind. Still comma when he turned on his wrist mic again. His voice shook slightly. Central chamber located. Evidence of evacuation. Moving further. Then it happened. His radio crackled. For a moment, a voice whispered through the static. Too faint to understand, too fast to follow. He froze, every hair on his body rising. The whisper faded, leaving only silence again. He checked his scanner. No life signs, no movement. But his instincts screamed that something was near. He walked deeper, following the faint energy reading. The corridors grew wider, the walls cleaner, as if this part of the colony had been protected. Finally, he came to a heavy blast door sealed with thick locks. Unlike the rest of the colony, this door looked alive. Dim blue lights glowed along, its edges pulsing like a heartbeat. He touched the control panel. Dust slipped away as the screen lit up, shocking him. After 50 years, the system should have been dead. But it wasn't. The panel blinked, waiting for a code. His scanner beeped in warning, detecting power far stronger beyond the door. His throat felt dry. What was hidden behind here? Why had the colony been abandoned yet left this place alive? He pressed his gloved hand flat against the metal. The door felt warm, too warm for a lifeless moon dot behind him. The corridor stayed silent. But he could not shake the feeling that someone, unseen, was watching his every move. The man took a deep breath, stepped back, and prepared to open the item. And in that moment the lights around him flickered, once, twice, before settling into a steady glow. The hum of power rose. Somewhere deep inside the colony, machinery awoke as if it had been waiting for him. He realized the colony was not abandoned. It was only sleeping. Whispers in empty halls, the blast door refused to open. Its panel blinked red, asking for a code, long forgotten. The man tried his override kit, sparks leaping as wires hissed, but the lock held strong. He stepped back, frustration biting at him. Somewhere beyond that door, something was alive. He turned into another corridor. It stretched long and dark, broken lights sparking weakly above his head. Dust floated in the air like thin fog, stirred by his movement. He kept his hand on his sidearm, ready, though no enemy showed itself. The deeper he went, the stranger the colony became. Here, walls were covered in hurried scratches, marks carved by knives or tools. At first they were random lines, but then he saw shapes. Human faces twisted in fear, sketched again and again as if someone was trying to warn whoever came next. His helmet light flickered. Static crawled across his visor. The radio clicked, opened by itself, a burst of whispering voices pouring through. Don't. Stay. Leave this place. Not human. The man froze, blood running cold. He had left his radio locked on a private channel. No one should be able to speak through it. He ripped the mic from his mouth, shaking his head, but the whispers kept leaking through the static. He forced himself, forward. The corridor led to a wide dome where once families might have lived. He saw broken toys scattered on the ground, a tiny shoe left in the corner, and long tables turned upside down as if used for defense. His boots crunched over shattered glass, echoing in the silence. Then he saw the message. Across the far wall, written in dark paint, or maybe blood, were the words, "It wakes when we sleep." His breath caught. The colony wasn't destroyed by war or disaster. Its people had been running from something inside. A faint sound broke the silence. A slow tapping, metal against metal. Not far, not close. It echoed strangely, coming from several directions at once. He aimed his light, but nothing moved. The tapping stopped, leaving the air heavy with dread. He clenched his jaw and walked on, pretending his nerves were steady, but he could not shake the feeling of unseen eyes. At the far side of the dome, a door hissed and slid open on its own. His weapon was already raised, finger against the trigger. The doorway revealed a stairwell leading down into the underground levels. From below drifted a soft glow, pale and unnatural. For a long moment he stood still, his mind screaming to turn back. Yet his scanner pulsed, showing stronger energy readings below. Whatever he had come to find, it was down there. He descended, slowly, each step groaning under his boots. The deeper he went, the colder the air grew until his breath fogged the inside of his helmet. At the bottom, the stairwell opened into another hallway, but this one was clean. The walls were not broken, the lights not shattered. It looked as if someone still maintained it. Wires ran neatly across the ceiling, humming with quiet power. He stepped forward, uneasy. His boot left a print in the dust, and then he saw it. Another set of prints, smaller, fresher, leading ahead of him. Someone else had walked here not long ago. He bent down, fingers brushing the edge of the print. His heart pounded harder than ever. He was not alone. The radio crackled again. This time the voice was clear, a child's voice, soft and distant, whispering inside his helmet. "Why did you come?" His blood turned cold. He spun around, light cutting through the corridor. No one was there. Only silence. He backed up against the wall, scanning every corner. The child's voice came again, but closer now. Go back, before it finds you. The man's grip tightened on his weapon. His instincts screamed at him to run, yet something stronger pulled him forward. The energy readings climbed higher, leading him deeper into the colony's forgotten heart. He forced his feet to move, following. The prints into the unknown. Behind him. The whispers faded, but the tapping returned. Slow, steady, and closer than before. The forgotten hangar. The corridor narrowed as the man followed the small footprints. His scanner beeped louder, detecting a surge of power ahead. The air felt thicker, charged, almost like standing before a storm. Each step echoed strangely, as if the walls themselves were repeating his movement a beat later. Finally, the passage widened, and he entered a massive underground chamber. His helmet light swept across it, and his breath caught. Before him stretched a hangar larger than any human base he had ever seen. The ceiling arched high above, supported by pillars carved with symbols that glowed faintly, pulsing like veins. Under skin. Dust hung heavy in the air, but in the center of the hangar something enormous slept beneath a cloak of shadow. He stepped forward, light rising over it. It was a ship. Not like any ship humanity had built. Its hull was smooth, black, metal, seamless as if grown rather than constructed. Strange markings ran across its sides, symbols that shimmered faintly with blue light. Despite decades of abandonment, it looked untouched by time, waiting. His hands shook as he reached out, touching the cold surface. The moment his glove brushed the hull, the ship reacted. Lights rippled across it like water, spreading outward, in waves. The floor beneath him vibrated, and somewhere deep inside, engines growled awake after 50 years of silence. The man staggered back, weapon raised, but the ship did not attack. Instead, a low hum filled the chamber, rising and falling, like a voice trying to speak. Then his helmet speakers crackled. A sound, not static, words, a language he didn't know yet somehow understood. You are late. His throat went dry. He spun around, searching for the source. No one was there. The voice came again, louder, resonating from the walls, from the ship, from inside his skull. We waited, we watched. We built this for you. He froze. For him? That was impossible. The colony was abandoned before he was even born. Unless this was not meant for him, but for humanity itself. He stepped closer, scanning the ship. As he did, he noticed something chilling. Along the walls of the hangar were more footprints, not just small ones, but dozens, leading to the ship, and then stopping. No sign of the people themselves, no bodies, no tools, just the prints ending at the hull, as if they had walked into the ship and never returned. His heart hammered. What had happened to them? Were they consumed, absorbed, or taken? The ship pulsed again, brighter this time. A ramp extended slowly, metal sliding down with a hiss of escaping air. An opening yawned in the hull, glowing softly with pale blue light. It was an invitation. His instincts screamed at him to turn back. The whispers in the halls, the warnings on the walls, they all told him this place was death. But his curiosity, his hunger for answers pushed harder. This was no ordinary find. This was history buried alive. The ramp vibrated under his boots as he stepped onto it. The glow grew stronger, enveloping him as he entered the ship. Inside, the air was clear and breathable, as if prepared for him. The walls shimmered like liquid metal, shifting faintly with every breath he took. He moved through the corridor until he reached what looked like the control chamber. A single chair stood in the center, facing a curved screen that stretched across the walls. Symbols crawled across it, rearranging into patterns until they formed words in human language. Pilot required. DNA match confirmed. The man froze. DNA match? How could a ship older than him already know him? The chair pulsed with light, waiting for him to sit. He hovered, torn between fear and temptation. His radio crackled again, this time with the child's voice he had heard before. Don't sit. Once you do, it will never let you go. The man spun around. No one was there. Only the empty corridors of the ship, breathing softly like a living thing. He turned back to the chair. Its glow pulsed faster, eager. He felt the weight of history pressing on him. This ship was not just forgotten, it had been waiting. Waiting for him. Asterisk. The awakening. The chair pulsed with pale light, almost breathing, like it was alive. The man stood frozen, staring at it, torn between stepping back or surrendering to its call. The glow rose and fell in rhythm with his heartbeat, pulling him closer with invisible strings. Finally, he lowered himself into the seat. The instant he touched it, the ship came alive. The walls rippled like water. Lines of light shot across the chamber, flooding every corner. The curved screen flashed, symbols rearranging in a storm of alien text before settling into human words. Connection established. Pilot confirmed. The man gripped the arms of the chair as the surface melted beneath his hands, molding around his gloves. A surge of energy rushed through him. Not pain, not comfort, but something in between. His vision blurred, and for a heartbeat, he felt like his mind had split in two. Memories that weren't his slammed into his skull. He saw workers in the colony, both human and alien, building this very ship in secret. He saw them running tests, welding plates, feeding strange cores into its heart. He saw their faces, hopeful, fearful, desperate. And then he saw the day they vanished. The workers lined up before the ship, touching it one by one, eyes glowing faint blue. Their bodies dissolved into light and were swallowed whole by the ship. The last to go was a child, reaching out with trembling hands. The vision ended. The man gasped for breath, heart racing, his visor fogged with sweat. He was no longer alone. The ship's voice was inside his mind now, clear and sharp. They gave themselves to me. They became me. And now, you are the last piece. The chamber shook. Outside, engines roared to life for the first time in half a century. Dust rained from the ceiling of the hangar as the ship's frame hummed with raw power. The man clutched. The chair, tighter as the floor beneath him, trembled. "Stop," he shouted into the empty room, his voice cracking. "I don't want this." But the ship did not stop. Panels opened across the walls, revealing streams of liquid light flowing through veins like blood. The entire vessel throbbed, alive, feeding on the colony's forgotten power. The voice pressed deeper into his skull. "You cannot leave. You are chosen." He tried to rise, but the chair held him firm, molding tighter around his body. His helmet display flickered. Oxygen levels, heart rate, everything, overwritten by symbols from the ship. His suit's systems no longer belonged to him. And then, the ship showed him the stars. The curved screen unfolded into a vast window, peeling back darkness to reveal the galaxy beyond. He saw not only with his eyes, but with the ship's sensors, its mind. Stars burned like candles, planets pulsed with hidden life, and distant fleets moved like tiny insects. And everywhere he looked, the ship whispered. Weak, fragile, blind. It wasn't just showing him the galaxy. It was judging it. His throat tightened. "What are you?" The ship's voice grew heavier, layered with 1,000 whispers. "We are the inheritance. We are the weapon they feared. Humanity must rise. You must lead." The man's heart pounded. This was no forgotten transport. This was a fortress, a predator born in silence. It had been built with both human and alien hands, fueled by sacrifice, waiting for someone who carried the right blood, the right will. And now it had awakened. The hangar shook harder. Dust collapsed from the ceiling, and alarms that had been silent for 50 years screamed awake. Red warning lights pulsed across the chamber, warning anyone left alive in the colony. Though there was no one left to hear. Only him. The ramp behind him sealed shut. He was trapped inside. The ship's voice lowered, almost gentle. "Choose, pilot. Become one with us. Or resist, and be nothing." The man's hands trembled on the chair. He could feel the hum of endless power beneath his palms waiting to be unleashed. One choice would chain him forever to the ship. The other might kill him before he ever left the moon. And as the engines screamed louder, drowning out his own heartbeat, he realized the galaxy would never be the same again. The awakening had begun. The choice. The ship trembled like a beast struggling against chains. Every wall glowed with veins of living light, and the chair gripped the man tighter, binding him as if it feared he might escape. His breath came fast and shallow, echoing loud. In the silence of his helmet. Outside, the hangar's heavy doors cracked open on their own. Dust and stone fell as ancient locks gave way, revealing the barren moon surface beyond. The engines roared, a sound so deep it shook the ground. The forgotten colony, the silent tomb of hundreds, was breaking apart under the power of the ship's rebirth. The voice pressed against his skull again, sharper, commanding. Choose, pilot. Claim what is yours. His fingers dug into the armrests. I don't want this. I didn't come here to rule or destroy. The voice replied with something close to laughter. You came because you were curious. Because you wanted what others had forgotten. That is why you are perfect. You will not look away. The screen before him shifted. Stars vanished. Instead, it showed images. Fleets of alien warships tearing apart human colonies, planets burning, civilians begging for help. His chest tightened. These were not illusions, these were real transmissions stolen by the ship's mind. They will come for you as they always have. The galaxy fears you, but with me, they will bow. Together, we are inevitable. The man closed his eyes, shaking his head. If he accepted, if he gave in, he would unleash a power humanity had buried for a reason. But if he refused, he might never leave this place alive. The child's voice returned, soft, trembling, almost pleading. Don't let it out. We gave ourselves to keep it sleeping. Don't wake it fully. The man froze. It was not only the ship inside his head. It was them. The workers, the colonists, their souls bound into the vessel, whispering warnings. They had not died. They had been absorbed, trapped forever as part of the machine. His stomach turned cold. If he accepted the ship, he would not be its master. He would join them, his will drowned, his body nothing more than fuel for its endless hunger. The chair tightened, metal fusing against his suit. His helmet displays flickered red. Heart rate spiked. Oxygen plummeted. Submit, the ship hissed. You are already mine. For a moment, he felt himself slipping, his thoughts scattering like sand in wind. Stars, fire, screams, all visions of a future where humanity ruled with iron and flame. It was tempting, terrifying, unstoppable. But then he remembered the silence of the colony. The toys left on the floor, the meals never finished, the desperate words on the walls. Do not go deeper. They had tried to warn him. They had sacrificed themselves to keep the ship locked away. He couldn't let their sacrifice be wasted. With one final breath, he tore the emergency release on his suit. Electricity crackled as sparks flew, severing the connection between him and the chair. Agony surged through his body as the ship screamed, not in sound but in his mind, 1,000 furious voices. The lights dimmed. The ship's pulse slowed. The chair loosened. The man collapsed to the floor, gasping, vision swimming. He staggered to his feet, forcing his legs to move. He stumbled toward the ramp, which hissed and cracked, but opened one last time. He ran, down, boots slamming against the hangar floor. Behind him, the ship howled, its glow fading, its fury echoing across the chamber. You cannot escape. You are already chosen. He didn't look back. He sprinted through the collapsing tunnels, alarms blaring, walls crumbling. The whispers followed him, chasing him like shadows. Finally, he burst through the outer hatch into the dead air of the moon. His ship still waited, covered in dust, but alive. He climbed in, engines roaring as he launched into the black sky. As the colony shrank beneath him, he saw it through his scanner, faint but clear. The alien ship's power signature still pulsed, steady, waiting. It had not died. It was only sleeping again. The man leaned back in his seat, trembling, sweat dripping into his eyes. He had escaped, but not won. The ship knew him now. It had, touched his mind, marked him. And somewhere in the endless dark it would call him back that the forgotten weapon was awake, and humanity's fate had shifted forever.